So today we'll be going over TextMyQB, which is a great add-on, definitely useful to incorporate within your workflow, as you can send out messages right out from Quickbase to your clients or your clientele. In terms of like usability, it's very accessible in terms of combining it with both inbound and outbound texting. Also, you can pair it with different add-ons we have to offer, like Courier, where we can send out emails. In this case, we'll be sending out text, which will contain either images, real-time updates. You can also send reminder texts and stuff like that. So this is a very simple app, which is going to showcase different use cases we can do with TextMyQB. So here we have the clients table, and in our case, this is going to be our master table, and we'll have certain fields that we will need. As you can see, in this case, we just have client information like first name, last name, company name, address, email, as well as a few phone number fields. And then from here, we have a child table, which is quotes. So let's add a quote here. On our quotes table, we'll be creating additional fields, which is going to get our TextMyQB workflow going. So we would need a text message field, a regular text message text field, a formula URL field, which will show you the formula code, which is going to operate as like pressing the button to send the message. This field right here, this button, will then check this checkbox, which will be a trigger, as well as a date time field, a regular text field to capture the status, as well as the unique message ID. So these are all fields that we will need in our master table to capture the message being sent out. Along with this, we would also need to create a text message activities table. So as you can see, there's one here, but we'll try to create one more here right on call for you guys. Okay, so the fields that we'll be creating here are going to be, as you can see, they're also listed on our help site as well, but we will be creating these new fields on here. So eSendX phone number, our to phone number, message, delivery status, error checkbox, activity date time, and unique message ID. So So this was to just create the basic table. Now to connect the table to our master table, a relationship is required, which will then capture all the messages that we both send out and receive. So we'll create a relationship here. So this relationship is going to go to our quotes table. So quotes can have many text messages. And then in our case, we'll use quote number as one of our lookup fields. So basically, these 12 fields in the beginning are the most important ones, whereas when we set up the configuration on our end, we also require the relationship field as well. So in this case here, as you can see, it's related quote, which is 13. Lastly, we're going to create one more field here, which is going to be our inbound outbound field, which will then capture whether the message was either received or sent. And that's also a great way to use in a report when we look at to see whether the message was sent or received in our case here. So in our case, the phone number that we will be using is going to be this. This is our eSendX phone number. Everyone will have their own eSendX number. So in this case, if we're going to set this up, it's going to say something similar to this, as you can see here. So if activity eSendX number equals that number, then it's outbound, otherwise inbound. So when we look at the report in this case over here, you can see outbound. So this message was going out to this phone number here. So we'll copy this. Put it here. Sorry, my bad. eSendX phone number. Okay. So that's our text message activities table right here. So when we start sending out messages, we'll see the first message will come out and it'll show outbound, whereas the next one will be inbound. So now to review our different scenarios we can do with our texting in quotes. So we'll create a new quote. And in our case, so we'll use my client record. As you can see, there is the name, the address, the phone numbers, everything through. We can include like the quote number. So something like 123, $56. Okay, and then we'll hit save here. So today we're going to go through 3 different use cases we can do with this texting. So one we could do is we can send a custom message right by pressing the button, which is like our standard way of how we normally send out messages. So let's say we want to send out something simple like hello. We'll hit save. Make sure to hit save when you update a text field. And then that will be what the message will send out. In this case, because we're using the button, if you look in the field settings, as you can see, we're updating the checkbox here. So from 0 to 1 to 0. So we're first from unchecked to check to uncheck. So we are basically eliminating the trigger as well as we hit it. So in this case, let's hit send text message. As you can see, the message was sent out. So when the message is sent out, these 3 fields also get updated. So the status will let you know whether the message was sent out successfully, as well as the date and time it was sent out, and the unique message ID. So this is all done through eSendX, which will be your provider when you sign up for TextMyQB. And then as you can also see, the second thing is a new feature we just launched with TextMyQB is to send out multiple, like a text to multiple numbers at one time. So as you can see here, there is 1 phone number, 2 phone number, 3 phone number, all separated by semicolons. And also in this report, you can see all of these messages were outbound and sent to each of these 3 numbers. So the way we have set this functionality here, this is just a basic formula text field, which is looking at this. So in our use case, we're saying like we want to send this quote out or a reminder about the quote to our client. And the client has provided us 3 phone numbers, so the home phone number, their phone number, as well as the work phone. And we also asked them like, which number would you prefer us to send the message to? So in this case, this is just a multiple choice field. And then here in this field, we're looking at the case. So depending on what choice the client has selected, we then send out the phone number the text to that phone number. So in this case here, if it was cell, we're only selling it to cell. If it's home, we're sending it to home. If it's work, it's work. And then if it's any, send it to all. And they're all separated by semicolons here. So that's how this worked here. So our trigger here was just, we filled out our custom text message, we hit the button to then send out the message. As you can see, the message was sent depending on which phone number, which option the client had selected, they received the message. Another use case we can also do is maybe we don't want to go the typical route of pressing a button to send a message. We want to do it based off of some type of Quickbase change. So like a date time field was updated, or a status field was updated, or a new record was added, let's say. So in this case, we're also going to try to send out the message automatically once we change the status. So here the status is initial. If let's say I was to change this to pending, as you can see, this just changed. So now the new configuration or the new message that will be going out will be based off of this status. So because it's pending, now the message has changed and says, okay, this is a friendly reminder. We will let you know when we're ready to move forward, or whatever it is. And then let's say we wanted to send it reviewed. And then that's it. All you have to do is you're going to hit save, and that should send out the message. So we'll see that go out as well. Okay, as you can see, so now it's been sent out again to 3 numbers, because here we had said any, all 3 numbers are valid. You can send it to all of them. And now we're no longer using hello, we're using this instead, because we changed the status. So here you can see, hi Shally, we completed the review of your quote. Everything is in order. We're all set to proceed. Please reach out if you have any last minute changes or questions. And then we can also respond. So when we respond, you'll see that there'll be an inbound, and this report will show you that new message in as well. Hello, thank you for letting me know. Okay, so like I just sent a message, so we should see that come in. Everything is very real time update, so maybe somebody might not be able to respond to an email as fast or anything like that, but text messages is something everybody has their phone in their hand, so you're likely to receive and answer a text much quicker or quickly. So let's see. While we wait, does anybody have any questions regarding what was just shown, or if you would like
Hey Shally, can you show the text activities table? I just want to see if those records are being orphaned, because I did text you back hi with a lot of eyes. I was hoping
Let's see.
you're going to see it. Yeah, see, look at all those eyes. So I'm wondering, is that getting not brought back? Do you have the pipeline potentially that would bring back the records? I'm not sure if that was built prior to the call or not.
I think the pipeline was built in the past.
Well, if you were to just relate it to the quote number here, I see, wouldn't that work as well, just for the sake of the demo here? But that is essentially what's happening now. I don't know. I know you might not be logged into the right account to see the pipeline, but that is also on our help site, folks. If you guys need help making that, you can always look and see. Let's see, pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, I can pull it here. If that's...
Yep.
So you would have access. All you would do is you would come in, copy this YAML into your own pipeline account, and you would just make these changes, like updating with the slug and the record, the field IDs for all the fields, like 15, 12, 17 are for unique message ID related clients. So this is something you can follow side by side to create it right for your account as well.
Right. And one thing Vaughn's asking in the chat, and it's a good question, is can you use fields in your canned message? You can use fields in your canned message as long as you relate them to that canned messages table. That's really the problem there, Vaughn, is if you're expecting master level information to be found in the canned table, it won't work as simple as that. You need to have, those fields brought over there. And then the problem comes in is you would have to have that related to a specific client. So if you have more generic information, that would be easier. Once you start trying to put dynamic information into a canned message, that's when it becomes difficult. That's kind of the thought of the canned message. You can have several canned messages in one formula field, like Shally setups we've done in the past, where you vary the message based off of what type it might be in Quickbase. And then when you're doing that, you can use the dynamic fields from your master table. So the client's table in this example.
Yeah, I mean, in this example, we can pull it up for you here too. Depending on the status, that was the field we were using to figure out which message to send. But within the message itself, we're also grabbing the client's first name.
There you go. Did you show this already, Shally?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
sorry. So as you see in this script, because we're doing the basis off of a status, that's what was causing the script to change. In here, if it's initial, this is the message. If it's pending, this is it. We are welcome to grab any other fields you would like, and it's just added like this.
Right. Yep. Very cool. Don, no short URLs. Yep, sorry. Has to be the full length. Just got confirmation on that from our provider the other day. We had a pretty extensive talk with them about URLs in general and how they're accepted. As long as it's a full length URL, totally fine. Shortened URLs, they do not love that. They typically will deny that pretty much immediately. Like anything like bit.ly is a very common one because you can't see what's behind it. That does not comply with the 10 DLC regulations these days. So very difficult to make things like that work. We would have to go through a pretty extensive compliance process with them, and the easier answer is just no, really.
Hey, Matt, doubling up on you though, the ability to text the link to the record, generating the text message.
That should be okay.
And well, the thing is that the Quickbase URL is this long, right?
Correct.
They are not short. They eat up a phenomenal number of characters. So
just so you know, I would make that your very, very first thing in the text. There's a 160 character limit in these texts. However, if you were to go over that 160 characters, it will just send a follow-up message leading right where the last character was. And I see James came off mute. So
yeah, so that's what we were told actually, but from what I've noticed from testing that actually is that it still shows up as one message when you receive it. So I still don't fully understand what they actually meant with that. But it should show up as one whole message actually. So I just wonder if you have tried that recently, Don, with that large link and seeing if it's getting split up or not.
Yeah, no, I haven't sent it to me, but for sure it's near the end of the message. This is our buddies in the Carolinas, Matt, they're using for the testing application, and they're sending out the link to the test for them to be a Quickbase test inside of the application. So I will talk to Eric and tell him we want to spin that around and give his employees the link first, and then a description of why they just got a link.
Okay, I think that makes sense. Kind of firing off too, and kind of instructions of what to do once they get that link, I think would be important as well.
Well, as Eric would say, he tries to make it idiot-proof, and then he goes and hires a bitter idiot.
Is that you?
Hey, guilty as charged, right?
Kidding. Yeah, well, that's a good point though. In the end of the day, when you try to make these workflows a little easier. Sometimes it may overcomplicate things. But if you could send out 2 texts, maybe the second trigger is the date time field of the first text successfully sending. And then that could send the follow-up text right after that. That may work. There's a couple different ways to go about that. But I feel as if I stole Shelly's mojo there, so I will just hand it back to her. And
no worries there. So as you can see, like, these are different ways we can send out the text messages in terms of like the button or as an automated, like based off of a change. Behind the scenes is the notification that runs. So as you can see here, we set up the text my QB notification, which was saying when the button was clicked, which is then just checking the checkbox, which is text message sent. So these conditions need to be matched. This is definitely some additional checks you can put in place when you're sending text messages to ensure like you're not sending out rogue messages and something that's blank, something that doesn't line up correctly. So this is where you can set that functionality, as well as this is the email message or the notification needs to be set. All of this is also listed on the help site. As you can see, I'm pretty sure Matt did send in a link for it as well, but very simple. As you can see, the step in general is just to get your workflow going from the perspective of how the message should go out, like what should be the trigger, what should be the conditions for it, what the message like needs to be, and at the end of the day, just like make sure all the fields that you're grabbing are accessible. Here, as you can see, we had both options available, as well as the ability for multiple phone numbers. So that's a cool new feature we just added. I know a lot of people were asking for group messages in the past. Maybe this is not fully like group because it's not one group chat, but you can definitely send out one update to multiple recipients at one time. So that's what I have for you guys, but if you have any other questions or if there's anything Matt wants to add, then please feel free to.
Nothing I particularly want to add. One thing I do notice is that unique message ID might also be part of the issue, Shally, because I don't think that pipeline would be able to handle
multiple.
Right, because that's separated by that semicolon there.
Yeah.
So that there may need to be a review of how that pipeline's set up for multiple. I bet if you did one, I bet it would work. Maybe if you want to test that live.
We can do that. The reason why I'm going back into clients is because I just need to make this change. So this was a lookup field we're bringing down to quotes. And as you will see, it's no longer going to be 3 phone numbers in the multiple phone number field anymore. It's just going to be 1 phone number right here. So we'll just send out this text message and we'll see where this goes. Okay, so I just received the message. As you can see, the outbound. So let's see, we're responding back. Okay. Oh, right there. Hello back.
There you go.
So definitely something to keep in mind when setting up the pipeline. So we'll definitely make a change there to include the multiple different message IDs because of multiple phone numbers.
Right.
Yeah, I think what the issue might have been was just that, especially originally if this was set up a while ago, the inbound pipeline was originally set up just to say if the unique message ID equals basically the unique message ID that came in. But basically just the quick change, if you already have an existing one, would be just to change that equals to contains.
Yeah, contains.
Yep.
Makes sense. Thank you, James.
And Shelly, I know, right in the very beginning, you kind of gave the rundown of TextMyQB, but we do also have the one pager. I don't know if you have that or not.
Yeah, we do. Give me 1 second. All right. So can you see? Okay. So as you can see on this one pager, this gives you a quick rundown of TextMyQB. So it's a very simple and fast text messaging right for your Quickbase app. You're able to stay updated by automatically sending messages whenever records are created or modified, as well as allow you to do two-way real-time communication. Like I said in the past too, everybody is holding a phone, so we all receive messages and we're likely to respond to your messages right away, as compared to like maybe you're looking at an email or any of that sort. So as you can see here, the key benefits, you can do both inbound and outbound texting, as well as track conversations right within your application, like we just saw the report in Quickbase. The inbound outbound field definitely is also a great visual, because you're able to then color code your report saying like, oh, green is like messages going in or out or whatever it is. So that's definitely something you can also add as visual, like visually appealing, let's say. Reminders, notifications, updates. Like we said, you can send a text when a shipment has been delivered or an appointment is coming up or anything like that, as well as you're also able to send documents and images as attachments right from Quickbase. So like, yes, in Courier, you can send out documents even with TextMyQB. If you created, let's say, a document in Quickbase, you want to send that file out, you can definitely do that as well.
Now, one thing I have to ask, and maybe this is a question for James, is the file size limit 2 megabytes, James? What's the file size limit?
Yeah, so it's a little weird because it does vary based on the carrier, especially like for receiving the message or the file. It's typically about 2 megabytes. I've seen it less than that, so I typically say if it's under 1.5 megabytes, it's pretty much guaranteed to go through. Once you start to go higher than that, that's when it gets a little iffy. If it's like over 3 megabytes, there's a very good chance it's not going to send.
Right. And then one of the new features that aren't on here yet, but it's something that should be out sometime in the near future, is scheduling these texts. I believe that's a feature that we're working on right now, similar to how Courier schedules out emails. If you guys need this today, the best thing we would recommend is probably making a pipeline, which based off of certain condition then checks a checkbox. I believe that is your best way to go forward with that at this current juncture. But that is coming to be native out of the box with TextMyQuickbase. And the other thing is, if any of you guys ever, if you're watching this in the future or currently need new phone numbers or require new use cases, please feel free to reach out to us. We do realize that you need to kind of go through us to make a new configuration. So this is not a DIY out of the box wizard setup as many of our other add-ons are. So like Exact Forms Plus, for example, you can install that completely on your own from the Juice Cloud. At this time, we don't have a configuration application open to all of you. So we would need you guys to just reach out to us. So if you have a need for TextMyQuickbase, or you already have it and you need another configuration, please reach out to support@juicetech.com and just give us your company name and ask for a new configuration, and we'll get it over to you right away. And I see we do have questions in the chat. Do you have any plans in the future to enhance TextMyQuickbase so that you can use the same phone number for multiple tables? No. You would need to use multiple phone numbers for that. You would not be able to do that to the same table. That's just based off of how the texting configurations work. It's using the same, if it's using the same phone number, you would need to use different phone. If it's in the same table, you would need to have different phone numbers, because it's basically looking for that phone number for inbound. You can send it outbound, it wouldn't be an issue at all, but on inbound, that's where the issue comes in. So again, outbound, totally fine using the same number for multiple use cases. For inbound, it's never going to really work that way. You would need to have two numbers. All right. Thanks, everyone.